Every now and then, Mike T.
We love Mike T.
Which is my guy.
Our guy.
Said something.
Friend of the
What
show.
the hell are you talking about Tom Brady? What?
I tweeted that as a joke, but Mike was very serious.
You don't make the call? I mean, you don't. I mean, it is a tailor-made championship kind of roster.
Gee, I said right here in this seat last year.
Yeah.
And I told you, Tom Brady tired of getting hit.
Right.
He's going to get hit behind this Jets offensive line.
That's true.
And who they have to play.
Okay.
You think Tom Brady would want to walk in that building?
No, I don't. I don't think he would want to go play for the Jets no matter what the circumstances.
Tom Brady done, man. Like,
Okay.
let Tom Brady
Shoot his hoops in
out.
peace.
Okay.
Like, all right.
How about Matt Stafford?
Interested.
How about someone? I guess what I'm asking you is, do they need to sign someone who is not going to just back up Zach Wilson,
if they got
but
Matt
could take
Stafford,
the
those
job?
odds would go right back to 16-1 or
Fair
whatever
enough.
they were. Listen, yes, they need someone. A name that came to my mind was Taylor Heineke.
Okay.
Right? And
Tell me more.
I thought about Taylor Heineke when he was with the Washington football team. That was their name at the time, I
Yes.
believe. And a really good defense, okay? He was able to go beyond the X's and O's, and they pushed Tom Brady and that Tampa team to the brink in the playoffs, and he played well. I'm not saying Taylor Heineke is to save the world. I think in this particular situation, with the way this team is constructed, with a dominant wide receiver like Garrett Wilson, which he had Terry McLaurin and found him a lot, he is familiar with what's going on here and team-wise what they look like. His athleticism is sneaky as well to get him out of trouble behind a porous offensive line, which I think is going to get better as the season goes along.
Interesting.
Well, let me come to my reporters on this now, because, look, if there was a really good option out there...
They get him.
Well, that's why they can't do it. I mean, there's no really good option out there. If there were... Every really, really good quarterback in the world is currently starting a quarterback for some NFL team.
Yeah.
So we all understand we're not looking at great options. What are the best options out there if the Jets want to do it?
Well, Brady's not available. Stafford, I like it, except the amount of guaranteed money that he's due, that to me is the issue. Like the Rams trying to move him and the Jets giving up. I had a GM tell me yesterday, like you can't just go out chasing other guys. Like you have to, at some point as a GM, draft and develop young quarterbacks. If you believed in Zach Wilson enough to take him number 2 overall, then figure out how to make him the guy that you thought he was a couple of years ago.
Oh, but Kmart, come on. I mean, whoever that was that texted you that, tell them, did you watch the kid play? The Jets have tried to draft quarterbacks and develop them. They took Sam Darnold 3, they took Zach Wilson 2, and then they had to race out and beg Aaron Rodgers to come play for them because they have not been able to draft and develop. So whoever that was that texted you them, text that person back. Have you seen the kid play?
But this other GM is not Joe Douglas. This is the franchise that took Zach Wilson, and you can't keep him on the roster. And now that he's here and Rodgers is hurt, you can't. No.
We're losing Swagu.
No. The messaging has to make sense. If you believe in Zach Wilson, why? Like you don't keep him if you don't believe in him.
Mark, this is not geared towards you.
No. The messaging has to make sense. I was fine if they moved on from
This
Zach.
is not about
but
you.
he's
This
here.
is not about you. Don't think that my response is to that GM.
Me too.
We just saw the 49ers send Trey Lance away.
That's right.
And they gave up 3 first-round picks.
Yes, preach.
Like, there is no... listen, I don't know what Zach Wilson is going to be. What I've seen Zach Wilson do is not going to win you a lot of football games. That's all we can go off of. If he's developed, they didn't go get Aaron Rodgers because they thought he was making some crazy progress.
I agree with you.
Okay,
it's
the
never
GM.
moved on from Zach. He's here. They should have moved on. If he's not going to be your future, they should have moved on.
But you don't need to move on. You moved on when you went and got Aaron Rodgers.
The future came in 4 plays, Kmart. He could have been the future.
Here's the thing you guys have to understand. This is what you guys.
Go ahead.
There is no
easy
fix for this. The
no
responses that I heard was, well, they could call Washington about Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
It's a better option.
But yes. But here's the thing. Taylor Heineke, I covered him in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a reason he's not their starter, right? He makes mistakes. You're worried about Zach Wilson making mistakes. Jacoby Brissett, wonderful locker room guy. But if you're thinking the Jets' Super Bowl odds will go up with Taylor Heineke and Jacoby Brissett, like, they're in a terrible situation.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I ask other GMs and execs, what do you expect them to say? No team is going to give up their great backups to the Jets.
Okay,
no team is going to give up their good starting.
Let me ask you a question because you just said something.
Yes,
Why are they in a terrible situation?
They're in a terrible situation because Tom Brady's older than Aaron Rodgers. Matt Stafford the money that he needs. There are no good options.
Because Zach Wilson, they quarterback.
But here's my but here's my point.
The solution.
If they did not, they should have moved on from him. Like the 49ers said, we made a mistake. This is not going to work. Let's find a better situation for you. Let's get some draft capital and let's keep it moving.
But they didn't, and we are where we are now.
They
And
didn't. That's
I
all I'm
think
saying. They didn't do it.
What you have to understand is if they believe that if they believe that Zach Wilson is not the answer, then they need to go out and get fleeced. They need to give up whatever they have to give up to get the quarterback and accept that you are going to overpay for Jacoby Brissett. Because right now you have a championship level roster. Maybe Jacoby Brissett does not maybe, he does not make you as good a contender as a top level Aaron Rodgers, but he makes you a legitimate contender. Considering how he played early last season, if you can continue that. If it's Taylor Heineke, you have to do something. They need to be okay with overpaying because they may never, ever in the history of this franchise have a roster as solid as they have right now.
I got you. I got all that. But again, when I say the messaging, if you are telling me that the Jets held on to Zach Wilson and wouldn't admit a mistake then, that now the Jets are going to turn around and give up stuff to get Taylor Heineke and Jacoby Brissett, those two, none of that makes sense.
Hey, Mark, to get them, it doesn't. But
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. It's a terrible
But it doesn't make
situation.
sense that you got Zach Wilson to have to start now.
Kmart, you were there last year. Okay?
I've been there for a long time.
Mike White T-shirts.
I know.
Okay? You're making me do this. I didn't want to do this. I said on the radio yesterday, every Jet fan needs to get behind Zach Wilson, and I believe that. If he throws picks, you got to cheer for him because the best chance they have is for him to turn it around. But let's face it. He wasn't bad last year. He was horrific. He would have been out of the league if they hadn't gotten Aaron Rodgers. They would have absolutely had to release him. They were hoping Rodgers could turn him into the future 2 or 3 years from now. The future came in 4 plays.
Yes.
He's not ready. They won the game around him and in spite of him on Monday night.
But what we're looking at is what is Zach Wilson? What's out there for you to be better than having Zach Wilson?
I get it, but we went from Super Bowl talk with Aaron Rodgers, and now you're giving me just like, well,
but there is no Super Bowl answer, Kmart.
I know.
What is the Super Bowl
If you're not
answer?
going to win the Super Bowl, why are we giving up? Like it's just you're giving me.
I haven't heard from Sal yet.
I
Go.
don't mean to move Swagu off the desk, but I got 2 words for you.
Go.
Nick Foles. Nick Foles is the answer.
No.
Is he on a roster right now?
He's
Foles
not.
is the answer. He's done it before. He's won a Super Bowl. There's a lot of attributes to Nick Foles that people like. He can come into that locker room. He can definitely lead a team. He runs an RPO game. He's a quick study. He gets the ball out of his hands quickly, which mitigates a.
What happened in Chicago?
What happened
Just
in
a bad
Indy?
situation?
He was there in
An
Indy.
offensive line.
Nick Foles was in Indy.
think
None of these options. None of these
what
options.
I like Nick Foles.
What I like
Matt
about
Ryan-
him is it doesn't cost you anything if he's just
doesn't
on the
cost you.
street.
Matt Ryan, Colt McCoy. These are all.
But I think
pretty
that Nick
good
Foles,
options.
the only thing that's interesting to me about Nick Foles is it does potentially, he has a story. I've done this before. I've come into a situation where a starting quarterback
In week 11.
Yeah, an MVP level quarterback went
In week
down,
11.
and I led a team to a championship.
And they changed the offense for him.
And if Robert Saleh is going to stand up in front of the cameras and lie, which he has to, that's like half the
Well,
coach's
he's talking
job.
to his locker room.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
Come on.
No.
Come on.
I'm
He's
not
not lying.
judging.
He's not lying. He's talking to his locker room.
Okay, it's absolutely lying, but it's okay. Sometimes
Yeah,
your
that's
job is
fine.
to lie.
That's fine.
Politicians lie. Head coaches lie. That's part of your job. It's okay. He did it. It's fine. But what helps is you have to sell them a story. And I think it's hard to sell the story that Zach Wilson is going to be a better quarterback than he was last year.
You're
Easier to
throwing
sell the
Nick
story.
Foles at me. You're
No,
throwing
I'm not
Nick Foles.
saying it's a great
Nick
situation.
Foles, who was in Indy, with all that chaos and was never what are we doing?
ain't
This is
saying
why
it's
it's
good.
terrible.
Okay, so then let me ask you. Let's put a ribbon on this conversation. They have to do something. I mean, right now they don't have a second quarterback on the roster. Tim Boyle is on the practice squad. What do they do? I mean, they have to sign someone who has played.
Listen, Greeny, you've been yelling at me all morning. You don't like my answers, but here's the reality.
What?
They're going to sign somebody that you're not going to like.
Who?
It's not going to. It doesn't.
Well, Nick Foles is that. No? Who is he?
G need to know.
No.
I've made her mad now, haven't I?
Joe Douglas. You got to
it's
text
not.
Joe
It's
Douglas.
not unless they completely shift course and do something unexpected. It is going to be a serviceable backup.
Like who?
But pick a guy.
Well, I thought that's what we were doing.
Honestly, but it's not going to be. It's not
gonna be-
like
McCoy, Matt Ryan.
Okay, does that excite you?
you gotta have
Does
a
that
backup
excite you?
quarterback.
But I prefaced it by saying there's no good option. Aaron Rodgers isn't available.
It's not about a good option. It's about a better option than what you have right now. And that's what people are trying to figure out.
Again, I was on board with Mike White last year. But in fairness to Zach Wilson, his story hasn't been told yet. You're giving me a Nick Foles story. When was the Super Bowl? You're giving me a story about Nick Foles. Like that was 4 jobs ago for me.
Yeah.
Like so like the idea that Nick Foles is gonna like roll into the state and say, okay, we're gonna win the Super Bowl.
Well, I'm not.
Like,
I'm not on the Nick Foles train, but what I'm saying
but here's the thing. I covered the Browns a lot last year. Everybody loves Jacoby Brissett, but the Browns were waiting for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
I was in Washington. I love Taylor Heineke, but the Commanders were going to Sam Howell. Like, I get it, I get it.
Hey, Mark,
but
listen.
these options.
All right. So I grew up in South Baton Rouge. I grew up in the hood. When you leave in the projects, you okay with a 2-bedroom in a nice little new
But here's the
area
thing, you went
where it hasn't extended.
Right.
We're not trying to go to a damn mansion.
No.
We just want to move to the 2-bedroom.
You had a Greeny-sized penthouse apartment up in the sky, and now you down in the squalors. You
We're
live
trying to find the middle.
And now you literally are telling me, well, I got this studio apartment that has no lights, no furniture, and nothing, and you want it's like okay,
I want to move to the apartment with lights and furniture. I don't want to go back to the project. That's what I'm saying. Like we are just trying to get back to a neighborhood where the police come as soon as you call them. That's all we're trying to do. All right, we're not trying to get back to the mansion and right back into it.
But
That's Matt Stafford.
I got it. But everything else, you're gonna feel poor. You're gonna feel poor. That's it.
I don't think.
All right. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.